flyers on everybody's cars. Okay?
It's legal.
No.
It's pretty close.
No. Basically, it would be a littering because you're putting things on people's property that they didn't ask for.
Freedom of speech.
Right. You can talk to people. You can sit on the sidewalk and hand them out to people, but you can't just leave them places. Unfortunately, what happens is people then take them and they pull them off their cars, and we end up having to take care of picking it up. So you can't put it on cars. You can't hang it places. What you can do is you can hand them out to people, okay, because obviously they then want it. You ask them, would you like my flyer? And then you can hand it to them, and that way you can distribute whatever message you want to.
Well, unfortunately, these are things I wish to talk about before I ever do it. Nobody would ever talk to me.
Okay.
I mean, what do I do when I try to contact the police? I mean, I'm just trying to be as fair as I can about stuff.
Who are you trying to contact at the police department?
I've actually been in there and talked to people.
Okay. Well, who are you trying to currently contact?
Huh?
Are you trying to talk to somebody now? Trying to get in touch? You say you're handing these out because you're trying to make contact with people, right?
I did send a thing to the police email, and I never.
Okay.
And I've given up on that.
Okay. What can we do for you, Michael, that you're concerned that I can try and help deal with?
Give me the chance to find out stuff ahead of time, like other people do.
Like what?
Like my right to ticket and protest. I mean, I've done my own legal research. I can't afford a lawyer and all that.
Okay.
I noticed that other people that have done things to me were able to get a lot of free legal help from people that probably should have known better and listened to me, but I mean, that ends up something that's being court.
Okay, well, the problem is we don't give free legal advice or anything like that as the police department.
Apparently you do.
Who do we give free legal advice to?
Well, Marie Congress had free legal advice from what I see in the police report.
What was in the police report?
Free legal advice on dealing with me.
Okay.
And when I was being harassed by people, nobody even want to listen to me about it.
The normal thing that we give is our legal advice is you need to contact an attorney.
Right.
Because so you can contact, you can go through your statement with them, and they can give you advice. Unfortunately, I can't give you advice as you need to do this, you need to do that. I can give you advice on how to secure your house and that kind of stuff if people are vandalizing your property, but I can't tell you bottom line legal advice, because what happens is if you go out and you take my advice and do something, okay, it comes back on me as the police department as I told you you could do it and now you go do it, and if you did that in somebody else's jurisdiction, they disagreed with that and you get charged, then it comes back, unfortunately, on us. So that's why we're not to give out free legal advice like that. We always refer people to an attorney on their own so that they can pay for and get the legal advice they want.
So what Officer Mark Hampton put into the police record last fall was probably inappropriate behavior.
Without looking at it, I can't say it is or isn't. I don't have the report in front of me, and I wouldn't have been his supervisor at the time when it took place. Okay, I'm not his supervisor.
All I can do is go by the examples that I see.
Okay.
And even what I'm doing now, to my understanding, was totally legal.
No, you can't just leave it on people's cars because it's a form of littering. Okay.
Okay.
And that's why I'm trying to tell you. I mean, I could stop and just cite you, and obviously I don't want to do that. I want to stop out and let you know, and you know, you can stop and.
You know, I mean...
No, I'm not going to have you go pick them all back up.
I mean,
okay,
I'll do that.
Well, it'd be a big hassle for you.
I'm not certain, but I think, because I have a hard time remembering faces, but I do think I talked to the certain prosecutor the other day that basically has been giving a lot of people free legal advice.
Okay, well, and the prosecutor is an attorney.
Well,
he can give legal advice.
Well, the interesting thing is he was kind of upset, I guess, I was doing this, and Rick went off the car window while I was doing it.
Okay.
And taught me for a while, and I mean, you know, and the thing I got about it is that he could have said something then, but obviously he didn't. He wasn't concerned about me getting into trouble.
Okay. Well, and it would, you know, I can't speak for him not telling you this, but I know that based on what the law says, okay, the interpretation that I've been told, it forms that. I don't want you to get in any type of trouble for doing that. Plus, when you're working up and down the street, okay, obviously you came this way because I saw you when I was on the road, and then I came to talk to you, and you're going the opposite direction. I don't want somebody to run you over in the roadway. Because you know how people drive in this town. No, and I'm just telling you. I don't want some goofball that's driving, doing the normal gawking and looking at traffic and looking at other things.
I know.
And to run you over. So the safest way for you to do it and the legalest way for you to hand out your material is pick a spot in town. You can be in front of the police department like you've been out there picking them before. I know that I've seen you out there. Or you could be at Four Corners where there's a lot more foot traffic. Whichever you would choose, you could stand, or not stand, sorry, about sit there like this.
Right.
Be perfectly legal. You're not blocking anybody's walking or anything like that. Say, would you like my pamphlet? Some people are going to say yes. Some people are going to say no. You can give it to them. They may ask you, what is it? Then you can give them your concern. And then they can take it from there.
I don't mind doing that.
No, and I'm sure you don't. But I'm telling you so that you can see your best option, so that you don't get in any type of trouble.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have any questions for me, Michael?
No. I mean, I just want to be treated fairly.
Right, and that's what I would too. And that's why I want to treat you fairly in our dealings. Obviously, I've never talked to you before or anything like that, but I want to make sure that we treat each other with respect. If you're being respectful to me, I'm going to be respectful to you. Okay? And then I'm going to tell you straight up the best information I have, and if a question come up that I couldn't answer, I'd be able to contact you later and give you the answer once I talk to somebody that is smarter than me.
Okay.
Which there are lots of people that are smarter than I am.
Okay.
Okay, Michael? You have any questions for me?
No.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's not like I want to.
No.
Just I've gone through a lot. I think I've been given a lot of bad advice, and people should have known better.
Well, and that's unfortunately sometimes you get that, and so you go with someone's advice, and maybe not the best one. It makes things a little worse sometimes. So you still, even though you take someone's advice, you got to make sure that you almost want to check with a couple people that you trust.
Unfortunately, I'd even done that.
Okay.
But I guess it depends what people's motives are.
There you go.
You can check a lot of people that don't have the right motives for you, and they're all going to
give you the wrong advice because they want to see you get in trouble.
Right. And that's unfortunately the sort of political thing I never...
Yep. And you run into that in some towns and places that political aspects do come up.
So, anyway.
All right, Michael. All right. You have a good day. Can you tell me your birthday?
November 8th, 1966.
November 8th. Okay. You're going to be able to get back up onto the
side
up there?
I'm watching for
Okay. Be careful, though, okay?
Thank you.